Hey guys, this is Ananya, and today I'll be taking a session on basics of Python Flask. And for the session, I'll be demonstrating how to make a project, basically how to call an API using Flask. It will be like a simple weather app, if a user inputs city in it, and it will return the weather in that city. So first, let me just show you the project. So yeah, this is the project, and if we add city to it, and check. So if we return the temperature and all the weather, current weather of the city. And today, basically, I will be focusing on the backend part of it. So yeah, let's get started with that. Okay. So these are the topics I'll be covering today. Yeah. So what is Flask exactly? Flask is a micro web framework written in Python. So it is used for developing web applications. So can someone here tell me what a web framework is?
It is like a package collection of packages which allow the developers to write web apps.
Yeah, it's somewhat correct. So the web framework is like a software framework. It is used to design or support the development of the web pages, web applications like web servers, like various resources or web API sort of thing. So now let us just come down what a micro framework means. Micro framework. So micro framework is like a minimalistic version of web framework. So it's like it only holds the essential elements or only use the things what are needed. So and Flask sometimes fails to give some services. So why are we using Flask? For the basic part, why are we using Flask? So Flask is kind of lighter and more explicit than Django. So if you want to start with backend, so Python is the part to it. Sorry, Flask is the part to it. Sorry. Yeah. And Flask is based on WSGI, the Web Server Gateway Interface. So it's acts like an interface between the web server and the web application. So it's a universal interface used by Python. And it's based on Jinja. Jinja 2 is like a templating engine. I'll be discussing more about templating further in the session. So yeah, and can someone tell me what a dynamic web page means? Anyone? Okay, so I'll answer it. Dynamic web page is if we want to display the data on the site, the data that is changing constantly, it's changing with time. So it's not like if you're making a personal portfolio, you will hard code all these things, you will add the data to it. So it's not changing. So it's like a static site. So static and dynamic site is a difference between it. So the personal portfolio thing is like a static site. So the data there is not changing. So now what today we'll be making, it's the weather. The weather in the particular city will not be constant. So it will be changing. So we will make it that. So that's a dynamic web page. So the data there, it's constantly changing. Okay. So now let's just install Flask first. So prerequisite, it's you need Python 2.2, 2.6 or higher in your system installed already. And for the installation of Flask, first you need to install virtual environment. So virtual environment, it's not necessary to download it, to install it, but it's the use of if we use virtual environment, so it's easy to manage more. So it means you create a isolated environment for a particular Python project. So every project has its own dependencies. So in virtual environment tries to keep the track of the dependencies, so it's like it's manageable. So yeah, you should pip.install virtual environment, and then you just make a directory of a project and change the directory to the command prompt, and in the command prompt and just write the command. And now we have to activate the environment. Like if you're a Linux user, you have to write this command, and if you're a Windows user, you have to write this command to activate. So now finally you can install pip.install Flask in your systems. Yeah, now let's get started with the basic application of it. So this is the bare bone code for the Flask application. So first you have to import the Flask and create an instance of it, of the Flask class. And if you guys are familiar with the oops in Python, so you might know like double underscore name double underscore. It's like a special way of writing methods, or it's like a special. So here double underscore name double underscore. It's like a special variable of the app thing, of the instance of the class. So next we have to add the routes. So it's like I'll explain more about routes in the next slide, like what routes exactly are. So this is the function, hello world function, and it returns the basic hello world text. Like if, and now we can run the app. So for you can have to write this command to run that. So now let's just copy it, and I have already pasted it in my Sublime. So you have to save the file with .py extension. So let's just run it using command prompt. So let me just change the directory. So yeah, now I am in my directory like in which the app.py file is saved. So to run the file, you just have to type Python app.py, your file name, and just press enter. So it's running. It's running on this port. So let's just copy it and just paste in the browser. Let me just save it once. Yeah, so let's just rename it. Okay. Just running. Wait, why isn't it working? I think there's some problem. Okay, so I've added the route here. Okay. So let's run it again. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so also you can, instead of copying, you just can write http :// to localhost. It's not shared. Oh, okay. So now is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So you can also like you can also like run the port using this command also. So yeah, it will return hello world in the simple text. Okay, so do you have any doubts still here? Okay, just let us, I'm assuming like you understood. So now let us move like to routing. So as I said, like we can add routes to our site, to our application. So route is basically a decorator in Flask. Like it is used to bind the URL to the function. So it's like route is used to tell it tells the Flask like what URL should trigger our function. Like at what URL our function should return the thing it's returning. So let me just tell you what I meant by it. So let me just change the route here. Just add text to it. So yeah, now let's just rerun it. So it's running. Now when I will like reload it, right? So when I will reload it, it will not. It's not found because the route is not added here. So let me just show you when I will add the route here. So our function hello world will return the data will be called at this route. So when I will change the route, it will not work. So this is routing. And it is going to templates. So just change the port. Right, sorry for typo. So this was returning the text in simple format. So what if we want to add HTML concept, like HTML code to it? So let me just copy and show you what I meant. So we will just return it in the form of HTML code. So it's running now. So now it's returning in the simple h1 tag. But it will be quite difficult. It will be quite cumbersome to write HTML content in Python file. So it's now we are just writing simple h1 tag, simple hello world, we are just returning simple text. But what if you want to add loops to it or conditionals? So it will be quite difficult. So that's where Jinja templating has an advantage. So we will just we'll use render template function to link our HTML file to our Flask application. So we just have to write render template and pass the hello.html file in it, the name of the HTML file as a parameter to the render template function. So, but first we have to import the render template thing. So let me just import it first. And let me just render template. I will add render template and I will just enter the HTML file. But we have to first tell the application, tell Flask to from where it should take this HTML file. So Flask will try to take the HTML file from a folder named templates. So we can add our file in it. Let me just create a basic HTML file. So wait, let me just save it first. Let me just hello.html. We're just creating a site and just add the basic part to it. And we were just returning hello world, right? So let me just okay. So we have made a hello.html file, simple file, and we have just rendered it here. So let me just save it and just run it. So it's running. I did, I think, route here. So just remove the route. Right. So now the hello world is being returned here. So it's the HTML file. And also you might have noticed like I have added debug equals to true here. So what that means is, okay, just let me show you. Yeah. Okay. So what debug equals to true mode means is like Flask is started by the method run. Flask application is run by the method run. So app.run we used. So like when we use like when the debug mode is off, so we just have to like you might notice like I'm restarting it again and again. So like if we had the debug mode, so the thing is like we might like like it will reload itself if the code changes, and also it will provide a useful debugger track to the errors, like if there are any in the application. So let's just create an error, and first just let me add debug is equals to true here. Okay. So let me just create an error. Let me just create an indentation error here and just save it. And just let me just try to run it. So yeah, it shows an error here, like expected an indented block at this line 6. So debug mode has an advantage here. So we might not have to like again restart the app and just keep tracks of an error of our errors. So let me just show you again. So no errors, and it's just running at this port. It's running. So do you have any doubts still now? Okay. So now let us hop on to HTTP methods. So there are many HTTP methods, but the basic things is basic methods are get method and the post method. So get method is used to like request data from a specified source, and post method is used to send the HTML data, form data to the server. So let me just give an example. So when you are visiting a site, like let us say Facebook, so you're just visiting the site, so you are using get request, get method in it, and like when you enter your credentials and just sign in, so that's post method. I might not make much sense here, but let me just move forward and just you'll get clear with the session. Okay, so let us just try to send data, form data to the template. So for that we just need two HTML files. In first file in which our form thing, like in which our form will be displayed, and other HTML file in which we want like if we input something, like let us say if we input name in the form and we just click the button, so it takes us to the other HTML file, other HTML page, and it just returns the name there. Using Flask, we can do that. So let us create a file. Let me create a new file here and just save it. Just save it index.html. So this will be our landing page. Like but if we open the app, when we open the app, so it will be the landing page. Okay, so let me just copy the form from here and just paste it. Okay, yeah. So this is the basic form. So let me just show you what the form exactly looks like right now. So we have an input field and we just have a button. So now if we click the button, so nothing would be displayed here because we haven't connected anything to the page. Okay. So now, and yeah, and for the app.py file, we just add two routes to it. Two routes. We need two routes because like this will be the landing page. You might have noticed like if we run the app, so it run on this port. So this is the landing page. It doesn't have any routes added to it. So this will be a landing page, index.html like the form. And when we click the button, we just want the input data to be displayed to this, let us say ABC file, like abc.html file. Okay, so we just have the route like at ABC and the method post. So I just told you like we can send the form data using HTTP post method if you want to send the form data to the template. So yeah, by this we can request dot we can use request method dot form method if we want. Let me just show you. Right. Yeah. So we can add the routes here. At first, let me just change this name, EBC. So we have added this route. Like we want a landing page to be index.html. And let me add just another route. App.route. And the route should be ABC. And we are using method post, right? So methods is equals to post. Let us create a function in it. Function ABC, like you can just name the function anything. And we want, like let us say name is equals to request, sorry, request.form. Just add name here, or yeah, and we will just return it. Return render template. So this route will render our ABC file in which we want our input to be displayed. Okay, so before that, let me just import request again. Yeah. So what we did here was like when we input our name in the form, like in the input field here, when we displayed our name here, like when we input the data, so we request the data and we just save that in the name variable. And also we are using method post, so we just have to write add method equals to post in a form. And also like you might know what action. So like form, like action we are doing here is like we're clicking the button. So when we click the button, so it should take us to route ABC. So like when we click the button, route ABC will be there, and our def ABC function will be called. So yeah, and here this name means like the input field. Input field like the name here. We are requesting the input data. And also in the ABC file, we just want to print it, like print the thing, right? So Jinja template uses like delimiters for it. So this is like double underscore, and we just have to pass. Let me just say username here. It can be anything. So we want username to be displayed here. So we have to pass it, right? So we just have to add username. We want username to be the name we input. We want username to the name we input in the form. So that input form, we are requesting it and we are storing in the name variable. So it has to be is equals to name. Let me just save it. Okay. I'll just run it. So it's running. So we have to input, let me say Ananya. So it just returns it is running at the ABC port and it just returns in the H1 tag. So did you guys get me here? Do you have any doubts? Okay. So yeah. So the expression double curly braces is like for the expressions to print the template output. So we want to print the output we get from the template. So let us move forward. Okay. So now, how to link CSS files to the Flask app. So right now we are not using anything CSS, like we're just printing simple HTML thing. So we're not adding any style sheet to it. So let me just show you the code of my project. Okay. Let me just run it once and show you like how it looks with CSS files linked. So my is running at the board. Cool. Take time, I don't know why. Okay, so let me just first tell you how to link it. So you might know, like, if we want to link our HTML files with the CSS files to the HTML thing, we just add this. Like we just add the file of the CSS files name to the href. Okay, so but if we want to link our files when we are using Flask, so we just have to use URL for method. So here, let's see, I have used URL for method to link my CSS files. Okay, still not running. I think the API is taking time to load. Okay. I'll just show you the posted link. So yeah, it looks like this with the CSS file link. So let me just remove this 1240 and just add the href. Okay, so save it. Okay. So see, I removed the thing and the CSS files are not linked to it now. So now this looks like this. Okay. So let me just take it as it. And here, static means the folder. Wait. So also like with like Flask, like tries to find the HTML finder templates folder. So we should have there should be some way like from where we should keep our CSS files also. So we have so Flask in the same way Flask tries to find the CSS files in the static folder. So I have just added this. Wait, let me just show you my directory of this thing. So these are my templates for the project, and this is the static file. Static file has CSS files in it. So basically, static here means the folder and the file name of the and file name is the file name of the CSS file. So let me just dramatic and show you. Okay. So when I reload it, okay, it's not active. Chalo, wait. I think I did some mistake here. I think it's the API thing. So yeah, okay, just let's move forward further with the thing. I've shown you the basic CSS, what it looks like for my project. So now let's just try to call an API using Flask. So anyone here knows what an API is? Okay, so yeah, API is the acronym for Application Programming Interface, which is a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk to each other. So let me just keep it in simple words. API is like predefined code, like which programmers use to make their projects more innovative, or like they might not have to create the things that are already existing. So like each time when you're using an app like Facebook or send an instant message or check the weather on your phone, so you are using an API. So how we call an API using Flask? So we use Python request method and it will return JSON formatted data to the object. So what I mean by this is like we are using request.get method and we are passing the API URL here and we're just storing the object here, the JSON object. So what is JSON format exactly? So JSON is a syntax for storing and exchanging the data. So it's like the text, it's written in the JavaScript object notation, it's like the acronym for it. So let me just show you what JSON format actually is. So this is the open weather API we'll be using. This is the URL for it, and this is the city. If I have bolded it, because we can add the city here and it will return this. So this is the basic JSON format. So you might notice like, wait, let me just show you. Let me just copy it and show it in the browser. So this is the JSON format. So I have added the extension JSON formatted to it so like it's like easy to read the data. So the raw thing is like this, it's really difficult. So you might notice that there are dictionaries here. So the basic JSON format like it returns data in form of dictionaries. So there's coordinate here, weather here, main thing here, like which have temperature, all these things. So we can use indexing and slicing to like return the data. Like if we want main, and then we have to use indexing and slicing to return main and temperature. So let us just try first to return the data. Like similarly for it, like what we want like if we input city to it, city to the API, city to the form, and it should return the weather, current weather of it. Okay, so let me just show you. You can also change. You can get the API from this app, current weather. So I just got my API for it. So I just use that many things like current weather, hourly forecast, climatic forecast. So I just use current weather data. And you can also pass various parameters to it, just like by city ID, like coordinates, longitude and latitude thing. So I just took the API from here. So we just have to add a city name here and the API key. So you can get the API key when you can sign in. You will sign in and you'll get the API key from there, and you just have to copy it to the app ID. So let us just first try to change the city here. So it's London here. Let us change to Vellore. So the data is changed and we return the data of Vellore. The current weather of Vellore right now. Okay. So what exactly we want is we want to send. Like we want is like when we add the city name to the form, it should return the current temperature or the current weather of the city. So it's same. We just have to make the form in one HTML file, and we just have to add routes to it, and just return it in this format. Okay, so we can do this right now. Okay, so next thing we just have to add the city here, and it will check. Okay, so it's the form, and let us just change this to city name. It's more understandable. Let it be name only because we are not changing the name placeholder here. And we just want to return city name dot city name here. And you just have to obviously change this here also. And here also because we have changed variable name only. Okay, so this is the thing. And now what we want is we have to request the API to return the weather of the city, like what we pass. So let me just copy this and just paste it here. Check up the indentations also. Yeah. So we just have to paste the URL here, right? Let me just copy the URL from the thing. Yeah, just copy it from here. And just paste it. Okay, wait, what happened? So, but this API will return the weather in London because we haven't changed the city name yet. So, what we can do is we can use concatenation. And just wait, I did the wrong thing. Yeah, just add, and we have stored the city name in this city name variable. So, let me just pass city name here. So, yeah. And also let me just show you what this will return. We are just storing the data that API is returning in the JSON object. So let me just show you like what the JSON object will return, like what is stored in JSON object. Just return JSON object. Save it. It's not running right now. Let me just run it. Copy the thing. Okay. Oh wait, I haven't changed the directory. Let's just change it. So just run it. Okay, so it's running. Just copy and paste it to see what is returning. So let me just add this and check. Okay, so we haven't installed request Python. So we just have to import requests. So yeah, we are using request here, right? So we have to import it. So it's running. Let me just change the route. Okay. So this is what it's stored in our JSON object. So the JSON formatted thing is stored in our JSON object. So because we're returning JSON object here, right? So this is the data that is being stored in our JSON object. So what we want now is we want to return, let us try to return temperature. Okay. So we can think of it like it's the main dictionary. So we have base, clouds, then coordinates, and the temperature stored in the main. Okay. So let me just pass it. Like if you guys know Python, it's really easy. Like we just have temperature. So JSON object. So JSON object is here like a dictionary. So return JSON object, and we just want main. Okay, just return main. Save it, and let it just return temp. Let us see what this will return. So it's running. Let's change the port. Okay. So yeah, this will return main, like what it's stored in the main. So now let me just change to temperature. Let us see. It will give an error. Let's see. Because let me just show you. Process. Let me see. It's running. Yeah, it's running. Change the route and just check. Error. Because like the return type should be string, this dictionary response, and also, but it was a float. So let us use like rendering to return it. Okay. So let me just add another input field here, in which we'll return the data. Where is the temperature? Let us name it temp. Okay. Save it. Yeah. So we want to return temperature, right? So temp, and we have stored temperature in the temp variable. So we just write temp is equals to temp. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see it's running. Why it's running. So I just check again. Add city. Yeah. So it will return the city name and the data and the temperature, current temperature of it. So now let us just try to capitalize. So we are capitalizing. We just use dot capitalize. Okay. So now the name is not capital. So just let us just check again. So now this is capital. And also you can try to return various things like humidity of the current sea level, ground level, current temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, icon. So the icon here is like, wait, I'll show you what the icon is. So I'll just try it. Sure. Scattered clouds, and this is the icon. This is the current weather and temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature. So you can just try all these things. This is the basic backend thing of the project, of this project. So you can all try and add just, wait, let me just show you the code base here. And also, yeah, let us see what will happen if we like add a wrong city name here. Like let it be something else. So it's like COD 404 and the message is city not found. So, and what if we try to add anything else? So it's showing error. So we can show a message instead, like city, it's like enter the correct city. That is C. So Yeah, it will just analyze this API. So it's like COD 404. So, and yeah, let me just add a good city. So here COD is, wait, city. Yeah, here COD is 200. So like when the city is not correct, so the COD is 404. Okay, so yeah. So here I've written this command. This means like if JSON object COD is 404, return the error.html message city not found. So let us create a template in which a new template. Let us name it error.html. Let me just copy this part and just paste it here and just name this message. Okay. Yeah. So what I did was if JSON object like the dictionary in which COD is double equals to 404. We want to return an error in a template error.html message is equals to enter correct city. Let us just try. So it's running. Let us just try entering the wrong city. It's like enter correct city. You can just try like analyze this API, try new things, like try various APIs. Like there are many APIs. Like you can return news and financial thing, and you can just stock prediction thing. So if there are various APIs, like search through it, and just yeah. So this was the basic backend part of this project.